Good morning and welcome to day 5 of Vlogmas. I am just getting ready to leave. I'm just trying to finish up drinking my magnesium supplement, which just looks like water, but well, if you watch the Wool Needles Hands podcast, Taylor? I can never remember her name. Plus it's really early. But anyway, she talked about this the other day, this natural calm. I also use it for a magnesium supplement, and so I'm trying to get that drink. And then I'm gonna get off to work this morning. My backpack is already packed up. Normally I would tend to sit around a little bit more and just sort of be lazy, given that it's 6:56 right now. But Monday mornings always feel really sort of like I don't quite have enough time because I have class on Monday morning and I have a few things that I need to get done before I go to class at 9:30. So I figured this morning I would just go ahead and hustle my butt off to work early, and you know what? I have knitting that I'm bringing with me, so if I have time, I can knit before class, but I'd rather get everything done and not feel super rushed. So yeah, I'm gonna chug the rest of my magnesium, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know how good of a view of this you'll get, but they've been doing some sort of filming here on campus recently. Let's see. So it's like all these trucks and stuff, and lots of stuff shut down, big old power generator thing. I don't know what it's for, but the trucks say 20th Century Fox on them, so Time to put this stuff away so I have a nice clean room to set up the next experiment. So I'm done with my setups for today, which means that it is coffee time because it's about 8:10, so it means I have time to have some coffee before I go to class. But I wanted to just, while my coffee brews back there, I wanted to really quickly talk through something that's been sort of buzzing around my mind this morning while I did my setups. And for those of you who haven't been around for a long time, maybe just started watching Vlogmas or something, part of what my job is I am the lab coordinator here at the university that I work at. And so, that does mean that I do some teaching, but most of what I do is the setups for the labs and lab equipment maintenance and designing new labs and stuff like that. It also means that I am the sort of second point of contact for students who are in the labs, right? So the first point would be their instructor, their TA, and then it's me and then someone in the department, right? So I'm supposed to sort of provide a buffer so the people in the department don't get emails from students all the time. And so I got an email last week from not one of my students, but from a student in a lab. And basically, the email was saying that, this student had missed last week's lab because her grandfather was dying, and she's going to miss this week's lab because of the funeral. And the policy is that one of the labs gets dropped, so basically one of those misses doesn't count, but the other one would be a 0 because there's no way to make up the labs. And that's a policy that I'm usually pretty lenient on. Like if people let me know ahead of time, and there's a way that they could maybe go to a different section or something, I will typically be a little bit lenient on it. In her case, it's just impossible for her to make it up. Well, it's not impossible, but it basically was not gonna be able to work. And so she was gonna have to take a 0. And that's what her instructor told her. And so she was emailing me saying, I really, I've been attending every single lab and I've been working really hard, and, I don't know, I can't find a university policy for bereavement, so I'm really at the mercy of you and the physics department, trying to guilt me into helping her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not meaning to be a jerk here. It's unfortunate that her grandfather died, and of course I want to accommodate her, and we did, I think, find a way to accommodate her and let her make up one of the labs so that she won't, wind up getting a B. But it's been making me think, and it's been making me have one of those kids these days moments where it's people don't want to accept the consequences of their choices, right? It's unfortunate that her grandfather died, and obviously that's out of her control. But the fact is that you still made a choice. You made a choice when you didn't come to lab last week and are not coming to lab this week. You chose that your grandfather's, death and then funeral is more important than your class. And I'm not saying that's the wrong choice, but I'm just saying that's a choice you made, and you now have to accept the consequences of it. And I feel nowadays, more and more young people and more adults too, don't want to accept the consequences of their choices. And, you know, I know that yesterday I was complaining about like how expensive flying and traveling is and all of that. But the fact is that like, I was complaining and venting, but I fully accept that like that's a consequence of the choice that I made to not move to New Hampshire, right? Like, I couldn't necessarily control Wesley moving to New Hampshire because, you know, he got a job and it was a good thing to move for this job. So that part was kind of out of my control. But the fact is that I still had a choice to make. I could have chosen to quit my job here and move up to New Hampshire with him. I chose to not do that because that was not a smart move for me career-wise. But the fact is that now there are consequences of those choices, and I'm fully accepting that's what it is, right? The consequences that I have to now spend a lot of money and time traveling to see him, and I don't get to see him all the time. And you know, obviously he accepted the consequences of his choice as well by moving up there, and now he can't see me as much. But the fact is that I understood that there were consequences to that choice. And I think not enough people understand that, like, you are constantly making choices, right? Even when the situation is out of your control, like, you're still making a choice in how you handle it. And there are consequences to that. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but like, you don't get to have it all, right? You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Like, you have to live with the consequences of your choice. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that's like bugging me, and who knows, maybe this clip won't even go in the vlog for today because it's a little bit not super cheerful and not super Christmassy, which is what Vlogmas is supposed to be all about. But like, the fact is, like, this is part of my life and my job, is dealing with people who don't want to accept the consequences of their actions. But my coffee is done, so I'm gonna have some coffee. Maybe I'll feel better once I'm a little bit more caffeinated. So it is lunchtime for me. This is my lunch: chicken and some roasted veggies. And while I eat lunch, I am going to do a little bit of knitting on my Advent socks. I'll show you guys once the stripe is done, the stripe for today. And I'm also going to be doing the links for my podcast. So I like to, well, let me flip the camera around. Anyway, I like to do the links after I've exported the video, and after even, typically I upload it to YouTube, because it lets me kill two birds with one stone. So I can watch it on YouTube and make sure that YouTube didn't screw up like the video or the audio as it was uploading, and then I can get the links, like anything where I was like, oh, I'll make sure I link that, and then, you know, try and figure out what it is that I need to actually link. Plus, it's really nice to do it here at work, like while I'm eating my lunch, because I have the giant monitor, so I can, it's easier to go back and forth between the screens versus on my little tiny 13-inch MacBook at home. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I will check back in with you guys probably when I'm on my way home or once I get home tonight, because the afternoon is going to be grading and office hours, so not very exciting for you guys to see. So I'm just about ready to leave my office, so I thought I would show you guys my Advent sock stripe for the day, since I'm going to leave them here. So the yarn that was for today is this guy, and this is from the sock blank that I used for my super simple sock shawl. So it's this is the purple end, and it's got a little bit of stellina in it, and so this is what the stripe looks like. So yeah, that's the stripe on both of those socks for today. And then once I finished that, I actually had a little bit of time, so I started Wesley's laptop case. I mentioned this on the podcast, but this is using the same pattern that I used for that little purse that I made for myself, which is the aspens, and I cast on the same number of stitches as the entire blanket would have, but I'm knitting it on a much smaller needle and with much smaller yarn, so hopefully it will turn out to be the right size for his laptop. But yeah, I'm getting ready to head out of my office for the day, so I will probably check back in with you guys tonight once I'm home. You guys, in the familiar red chair again. I think I'm going to close out the vlog for today. It's not terribly late, it's only a little after 6, but yeah, I'm sure Wesley and I are probably gonna, you know, talk a little bit later, so that'll take up a big chunk of time, and I want to get this edited and everything. Plus, one of my teeth really hurts, and I think it's because when I poured my glass of water for dinner, I poured it with water that was right out of the fridge, so it was like really, really cold, and it's one of the teeth that got a filling in it, the very last set of fillings, and so it still gets like aggravated by extreme cold and heat and stuff, so like it just hurts. It hurts real bad. So I'm gonna take some ibuprofen and see if that will help, but it sort of just has me not wanting to do anything tonight. So I think I'm just gonna hang out. I have an article I want to read. I'm gonna change into some leggings to get all comfy, and just read and knit and talk with Wesley and call it a night. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.